Okay. All righty. So thank you, PJ, for being the in-person representative of those who are able to help with Americans for the Arts, Arts and Economic Prosperity Study 6, and specifically at this point, the audience survey portion of that. I know that Marie has sent out a number of emails related to this, and within those emails, some context was provided. But after a quick intro, and I think George will be joining us soon, we can just do a quick recap of that context. And then Marie, thank you for being willing to screen share and kind of walk folks through what it exactly we're asking here and how to do it. So I'm Karen Geschko. I'm the Assistant Director at the Wisconsin Arts Board. And also from the Wisconsin Arts Board is...
Yes, I'm Marie Ackley.
And you are the person spearheading this AEP6
Yes.
study for us. Thank you this summer. And PJ, would you introduce yourself? So we've got you too.
Sure. PJ Albert, Executive Director at the Capital Civic Center in Manitowoc.
Yes. And one of those people who said, yes, sure, we'll do some audience surveys and help gather some economic impact information for the arts in Wisconsin. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
As a recap, we've been doing the Arts and Economic Prosperity study with Americans for the Arts since the 90s, when they began doing this study, and they've been doing it sort of every 5 years. The pandemic threw that off a little bit, but we're doing it again now. This is the 6th such study. It's a national study, and so we're feeding into that. They're doing a very specific one for the state of Wisconsin that we have purchased for them to do. And in addition to that, there are 6 communities around the state that have paid for their own study within their own communities. So their work will feed into the statewide study, certainly, as will the audience survey work that organizations like yours, PJ, in communities that are not directly doing their own study with AFTA will be helping us in terms of gathering the statewide data for audience impact. And then we'll also be coming back to the individual arts and cultural organizations around the state and asking them to do some information gathering from an organizational viewpoint. So, so there's that. Marie, can I turn it over to you so you can provide whatever context I've forgotten? And then PJ will make sure you've got a chance to ask questions as we go too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. So let me share my screen quick. Gotta figure that out quick. Oh, there we are. Okay. Let me know if you can see this.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. So yes, we'll be talking about participating in AEP6 here. What you should have received in the email was the timeline of the project, the abbreviated survey instructions for the surveys, batch cover sheet for paper surveys, the paper surveys themselves, which is available in 22 different languages. If you need those, just let us know. And then a flyer with the state of Wisconsin QR code. So for the timeline, what you basically need to worry about is getting some surveys in before the end of April. If you want a full timeline, then please let us know. But otherwise, do try to space out when you get surveys in for events throughout the year, so we know when some audiences attend events.
And Marie, if you're okay, I'm going to just pepper interruptions in as we go, since it's a small group here. And PJ, knowing that you aren't even going to start your season until after Labor Day, that's fine. Obviously, for you, the first batch of surveys will be due November, if you can do that. This is more sort of our timeline with Americans for the Arts, or AFTA. So we'll be sending in our first batch at the end of August, and then our next batch at the end of November or whatever. So just wanted to put that caveat in there. Thanks, Marie. Please go ahead.
So next up, we have the abbreviated survey instructions for paper surveys themselves. These must be completed on site during the activity you host. Only one survey per travel party should be distributed and filled out by an adult. Please collect no more than 50 surveys per event. There is no minimum that you need to collect, so no worries there. To help with the collection, you can get volunteer interviewers or distributors, or just ask your staff members to help out. And another tactic you can use is a random distribution pre-event, such as distributing one survey on every 10th seat of your event. And then we have the full abbreviated instructions available if you want to look at those, the badge cover sheet, and the paper survey for the state of Wisconsin. And I did take screenshots, so it's a little easier to look at them. So these are the abbreviated instructions. Pretty easy to read, only 2 pages, not much to worry about. And then we have the badge cover sheet. You as the organization needs to fill this out. And then once you do, you put this on top of a batch of paper surveys that you collect for an event, and then send these to Ben Davison at the Americans for the Arts, not to us. So, and then this is the paper surveys that you will be distributing. If an attendee only fills out a little bit, that's perfectly fine. Any amount of information is great for us. So for the state of Wisconsin QR code, obviously it's going to be a little hard to monitor how many people access the QR code. So try to do your best to make sure not to go 50, but if you do, not much to worry about. It's QR code. But to help monitor this, you can distribute these on staff tables, or if you want to put out a disclaimer, for getting one adult per travel party to fill these out, you can place these on walls. So, and then there is just a basic QR code you can use that you can add into a pamphlet, display on the screen, etc. Get creative. And then this is the flyer that you should have. So pretty eye-catching, if I do say so myself. And then any questions? Some FAQs that was provided to us. So.
No, I mean, this is all pretty straightforward. I've also participated in this in 4 and 5 from when I was in Orlando.
Awesome.
We did intercepts. So I'm very familiar with the process and the program. It's pretty straightforward.
So PJ, I'm curious, what did you think about the idea of, if you want to use the QR code for something, what do you think about the idea of sending it out? Is it allowed to be sent home via, okay, email? No, you can't do that. Okay, I was just thinking the QR code, right? It cannot be emailed to people who bought tickets after the event to say, what did you think? If you as PJ ever do kind of a follow-up, how was your experience with the Capitol Civic Center? And by the way, if you didn't have a chance to do the survey, here that is. That's not going to be allowed, right, Marie?
Yeah.
So
I would assume with the paper surveys, just try to have these surveys filled on site.
Yeah, the paper surveys will have to be on site. I was just wondering about the QR code.
Yeah, I think on site as well.
Yeah, that's my impression, is that you can put up a poster on the wall that says, follow this QR code to complete a survey, but it can't be emailed. It just has to be while they're seated in the slideshow before the show, or on a wall throughout the lobby. and trying to get them to facilitate that immediately. I don't know
Yeah.
how they're going to manage that, whether or not they actually did that. So I assume there's a lot of Scouts honor in that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they have some fairly sophisticated tracking in technology in the mix, but I mean, it's not like following or personal surveillance or anything. It doesn't go to that level at all. But Ben has talked about how they kind of uh, figure out what QR code related um, survey response is attached to what kind of location or whatever. Right, Marie? Does that sound familiar? Do you
Yeah.
know anything about how that works?
Mm, kind of. So it's hard to say. Probably look it up and everything. So
I mean, for us, we have enough volunteers that doing the paper intercepts are not going to be too
Mhm.
big of an issue.
That's awesome.
And, these events, again, being a PAC, we have so many events taking place throughout this time period that it's also, not that hard to get. I mean, we're probably not going to focus on getting 50 for every event, but we'll probably focus on getting 5 to 10 across multiple events. So that's not too difficult for us.
Awesome. And your repeat attenders won't be filling them out more than once, so that's cool. And I wonder if for some of the groups that don't have lots of volunteers, if they might take an opportunity to post the QR code in the lobby and then mention it either in the curtain speech or maybe a note during intermission or something like that. That might be one way to encourage others to do that if you don't have the volunteer corps that the Capitol Civic Center does.
Yeah, I mean, we also have seen in this past year a lot of organizations moving to programs as QR codes. So I think that that's also a way that they can
Oh, sure.
tie that in is, not only do they have their program available versus QR via QR code, but then they can also mention the survey.
That makes all the sense in the world. Thank you, PJ.
Mm.
All right. Anything else for the good of the cause? As you have both said, it's pretty straightforward.
yeah, I did forget to mention that there is a URL version available for tablets only. So it's basically your organization has these URL surveys pulled up on tablets and then have the audience members fill them out at like tables or something. So if you do want that, you can let us know and we can send out the information.
Okay, that's good to know. That might actually help expedite things rather than trying to do them on paper.
Mhm.
So
Would you like more?
Yeah, that would be great. If you would email that out, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Um, we're kind of may or may not have the tablets available to do it, but it's good to have that ability.
Yes, I shall send that out after this meeting.
Thanks for remembering that, Marie. Awesome. Okay. Are we good to go, do you think?
I believe so.
All right.
It's good for
Unless
us.
there's
Like I said, I've personally been involved in this before, and this program is so great. And I mean,
Awesome.
and if any further questions occur, just email us. So
Sounds good. PJ, you just froze on us, but hopefully you can still hear us. And thank you again for joining in on this. Appreciated having a live person to talk with.
mhm.
Oh, there you
absolutely.
are.
Take care.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.